Hey, welcome to the Vertical Mashup closing ceremonies.
Why do you have the microphone?
I gotta do it like this.
Yeah.
It's a prop. So the Vertical Mashup closing ceremonies, European Rotors.
In person.
In person.
In
First time we've
All
all
four
recorded.
of us.
This is a ceremony?
I'm
This
so
is a
excited.
ceremony. This is the torch.
Closing.
Yes.
We're at the closing ceremony.
It's amazing.
Wow.
Well, it's hard to believe this trip is coming to an end. You know, European Rotors, for us as a group, was amazing. You know,
Yes.
I think,
Yeah.
Val, we were without you for the first recording where we talked about the first day, kind of our initial thoughts, and talked about our travel a little bit and what
Yeah.
we'd experienced. So
Yeah.
let's, now that you didn't have a chance to do that, what were your initial thoughts and what's your experience been at European Rotors?
Put the prop down, John.
What are you doing?
I like
so
it.
weird.
Oh, yeah.
Don't tell me what to do.
It's
So
like holding a
weird.
torch.
I know.
Well, for me, this is initially like it was a last minute booking. Wasn't planning to be here for this one, and then kind of things changed and the tides rolled in, and I ended up being here after all. Great show. Sorry I couldn't record with any of you guys here during this show, but at the same time, I saw the activity amongst the HeliCAST booth. Crazy good.
Yeah.
Crazy good. You guys killed it.
It was fun.
Everybody
You guys
but the
killed it.
helicopter podcast. I mean, they didn't do a whole lot here.
They did all right. I mean,
Would you record one podcast?
Something like that. I'm just going to shut up and smile.
oh, yeah.
No.
Smile and wave, boys. Smile and wave.
Real quick, do you want to shift you? Because you killed it here. You got
Thank you.
how many recordings?
I think it's like 8 or 9.
Attaboy.
So
Oh my God.
I wanted to make some hay while the sun was shining.
That was
So
good.
you
Yeah.
can tell my voice is
You're pretty raw right now.
hurts.
Yeah.
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 It hurts.
So
Does that mean you're going to be quiet? Can I mute you right now then, the rest of the podcast?
I would love that. I don't even want to be here.
What do you, oh,
I'm
wait,
kidding.
the heart just broke right there, right? Oh.
Yeah.
No, it's been a great time, and the energy's been great.
Yep.
It's been fun sitting here, looking out, seeing all the hustle, the bustle. It really was a great show, and I got to talk to some really cool people. I got to learn things that I hadn't really ever got to learn.
Yep.
Specifically more about VAI, which is crazy because I've been in the industry for a long time. I got to learn more about the European Helicopter Association, and then you and I had a great conversation with Frank today, learning more about what it takes to put a show on like this. And so to kind of peek behind the curtain, have those conversations, and of course have some other great OEMs on, and
it's Amsterdam too.
and it's Amsterdam.
It's Amsterdam.
It was so much fun. And weather was pretty good,
yeah.
which was nice. A little foggy the last
Slightly
couple
overcast,
days.
yeah, but that's okay.
Had a great dinner last night.
We had a great dinner.
It was
Yeah, we're
amazing.
paid.
Yeah.
This place has an abundance of Italian food.
I
That's
will
for
say
sure.
Halsey treated us to dinner. That was very kind of you.
Hey,
Great
we totally
Italian
did,
food.
yeah.
Great Italian
Missed
food.
out.
Yeah.
You missed out.
No, last night we found a couple of Italian spots, and I always defer to Italian food. Like, oh, where do you want to go tonight? There's an Italian place. No, that's it.
Yeah. It
You can't go wrong with
No.
pasta.
No,
was good.
No.
no.
I think it's been fun too, just like the content, like Quinny and John. You guys created some really cool show content
Yeah, it was
during
fun.
the show, and I think it's fun for people that haven't or didn't have the opportunity to come this year to hopefully be able to vicariously live through your experience and your experience, see the different vendors, see all of our sponsors that make all of this possible. It's just been awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's been some good appreciation from the shows that I've gotten the feedback about every one of your shows. So kudos.
Thanks.
Because we're getting a lot of good feedback on it. I'm still the rookie on the team here, so I'm still learning a lot from all you guys and listening how you've approached your particular podcast and the way you're blowing it up right now. Big fan.
Well, man, it's same for you on the VMRO side.
Thank
It's
you.
been
Yeah.
really cool to see that grow. It's got legs,
It's getting legs, yeah, isn't it?
It's pretty neat.
It's
Yeah.
wild to actually see it where it's branched off into not only just a MRO podcast, it's MRO alerts and MRO tech
Dude.
talk. And as a matter of fact, I remember like going onto the website and I'm like, oh snap, look at that. And now all of a sudden you have a way to reach the entire industry when bigger things happen.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
ground an entire aircraft, like whatever.
Yeah.
And now you know why, fixes, what's coming. It's amazing.
I think the overall purpose of that is just to kind of keep everybody informed.
Yeah, totally.
It's unbiased to any platform, but a bell jumped down on it right away.
Yep.
I hope it catches fire with the rest of the OEs, and
It's pretty cool.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's open to it. Like listen, the biggest thing that we've always kind of prided ourselves on is the communication that we can kind of provide.
Yeah.
And we can provide that across a broad spectrum of people that are listening to us. We're doing our jobs.
Yeah.
Well, like I said, one of the things I really like about it is I think back on like the 225. Do you guys remember when?
Of course,
the
yeah.
rotor head pops off,
Yeah.
and they ground every aircraft around the world.
Yep.
And it was like crickets to find out, well, what's
What
going
happened?
on,
Yep.
and what happened and what's going on. Now I get it. Investigations have to happen. Like this is not my
Sure.
first rodeo, but
Yeah.
on the other side of that maintenance side of talking to the manufacturer and talking to the maintenance guys and saying what's going on, like that up to date,
Yep.
real time.
Yep.
Information. Go.
Agreed.
Boom.
Agreed.
It's awesome.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's neat. It's,
It's cool.
Before we change gears, I want to
Sure.
talk about the conference that's coming up for the MRO, the Vertical MRO Conference.
Oh my God.
That's big news. It just dropped, and I think it's an appropriate time to talk about it. Do you have the details handy that you can kind of discuss?
We do. Hold on. They're right there. I'm going out of camera. I'm going out of camera. Yeah. But I'm going to keep talking. So I'm here the whole time. Wait a minute. Ready? And then I'm going to drop it in the camera. Ready?
Barcoded. QR code.
Get in the flip. There it is. There you go. Oh, there you go, Val. Read it. You can read it verbatim now.
Oh, my glasses are over there, so I have to do this. There we go. Coming October of next year is basically going to be a Vertical MRO Conference. And it's going to be basically kind of going back to what I think the industry is long overdue and needed. And it's an actual conference and or kind of get together where people are actually talking about the entire helicopter and how to maintain it, tip to tail. Going, kind of against the grind a little bit as far as not necessarily a bigger convention like this, but more hands-on with the AMPs, AMEs, DOMs, PRMs, people that own the companies coming back in and getting this, getting educated a little bit. Because from what I understand, there's going to be seminars available at that show that we're going to be kind of keeping everybody up to date and intriguing the younger minds. Because this has been a constant theme on the show is when you have the apprentices that are so hungry and thirsty for this knowledge, they're probably not really getting it at the VAI or the Verticons because it's such a massive show.
Right.
Yeah, it's
right?
not made for it.
Yeah, and you're right. You're there to showcase and display. Whereas this is probably going to be more of an organic approach to kind of growing their minds. They walk out, and I think Linda said it more than a handful of times. If somebody walks away with an educational piece that they can come back to their shop and make it that much better, accomplishment.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's the general purpose of it all, and to kind of have that many minds, because we're going to be doing it in October in Canada, in Kelowna, beautiful Kelowna, Canada. If you've ever been up there, please come by. Oh, Halsey.
Where is it?
Just in British Columbia.
Oh,
it's
right north of me.
Yeah, it's right
I can
north
do
of you.
that.
Yep.
Yeah, and Kelowna is kind of like the Canadian
Are we
version.
allowing pilots at the MRO?
Probably not. No. Well, wait a minute. You're
you know what? Let
you're
me
gonna
show
come
up
in
and
as a
I'll
write-up.
I'll break stuff and then you fix it.
Then that's what a pilot. Then we know who you are.
Perfect. I'll go up to the helicopter, throw a wrench at it, you fix it.
Part of the presentation.
We'll give you a box of crayons. You can go color in the corner.
Thanks. Me, Halsey.
So,
Here's the book. Right. Put your describe in here and then give it to me.
yeah. So Kelowna is kind of the Canadian version of wine country up in Canada. Gorgeous high altitude area. It's kind of like what you're going to be used to there, right? So where you live. And then from what I understand, a month later, we're going to be doing it down in Fort Worth.
Awesome.
So it's a growing and building thing that's going to be absolutely appreciated. And I think kind of bringing it back to our roots of what we're trying to kind of get across and talk about what the repair overhaul sector of our entire industry.
Yeah. Halsey just brought up the conversation we had with Frank. We were talking about the benefit of conferences.
Yeah.
And my favorite thing about conferences, you go there and you learn, you network, and the education that takes place there is huge. And I do agree that that's been lacking in the MRO side, so Vertical stepped up and created this opportunity for the maintainers to find a place to do this, to learn.
Yeah.
So I'm really excited to see how that evolves. You can find information through the Instagram page at vertical.mro.
Correct.
Check out that social on Instagram. It's great. Follow, like, and subscribe there. So encourage you guys to do that, and hopefully we see y'all in Kelowna in October of 2020.
It blew up.
4 or 5.
People are noticing it. It's a beautiful thing. That's kind of stuff you wake up to, and you wake up right away. Living in hotel rooms, guys, you know that. All of a sudden you wake up, you see this, and you see nothing but positive remarks about something that was unleashed and or announced. That's great.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah.
So,
Something interesting, too, that I actually kind of heard throughout this show.
Yeah.
We talk a lot about simulation for helicopter pilots. Loft, we got to talk to Fabi, or I talked to Fabi. But I've also heard some rumblings of simulation, VR specific, geared towards maintainers.
Really?
Yeah, actually.
Wow.
I haven't heard that.
Potentially
That's pretty neat.
integrating similar simulation where you can put on goggles. You have your tool chest. What do you call it? God
Yeah,
dang it.
the toolbox.
Thanks.
All right,
It's
for
been
the-
a long day.
Just
sorry.
so we know, he's the pilot.
Oh,
Okay,
yeah,
he's the pilot.
It's a
Pilot.
tool chest, guys. But do you think that would have legs? Would that? I mean, if it could give you the feedback and it could be brought into the realism. I mean, is that a way of
jump
effective
in?
future teaching?
Please, by all means, jump in.
So I'm gonna go 50-50. Like I see some benefits to it, but overall, like I can take a part of the aircraft and I can have it in front of me on the ground.
Yeah.
Like the flight simulation, the hoist simulation, that's in air. You're literally taking. Let's use the 860 because I love that aircraft.
Sure.
And you're flying that for hoist operations, and it's $7,000 per hour.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But I can take that same gearbox off the 860, put it on a platform in
Yeah,
front of
it's
me.
right there.
I don't need a simulation. I have it there.
But the other part about that, I'm sorry to jump
Like
in
it?
here. Like, so I saw something today. It's probably right up your neck of the woods there too. They were doing a green screen training from a hoist, and the guy was literally stirring the rope like this as he's kind of controlling the basket.
So that would be
underneath.
a cable, not a rope.
Thank you.
Tool chest.
Yeah, tool chest. Yeah.
Whatever.
Mechanic.
This is why we are all here. I'm going to throw that out there.
But I saw him, like, he was leaned over, he was harnessed in,
Yeah.
and he was in a green screen, and he was literally doing this. But what I saw visually was him on a green screen, kind of maneuvering the cable. But the pictures all around him, and in his VR set,
Yeah.
he was above a platform
Yeah.
doing that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think, kind of to answer your question, Halsey, it could possibly work, but it might be intricately challenging when you get into the smaller parts of like the fuel control, gear shafts, or stuff like that. But for a gearbox, like a gearbox is a big, massive thing, right? Whereas a gearbox, on a lot of conditions, it's on condition. There's really no time life depending on what platform you're flying. But generally speaking, I might defer back to the 50-50 on it
Yeah.
because there's such small details. Do I wish for it to happen?
Well, I think
Hells yeah.
But I think technology is getting there.
Yeah.
Agreed.
I think it's maybe 50-50 today, and maybe in 5 years it's 75-25.
Yeah.
I look at it more from like a troubleshoot.
Yeah.
Like, here's a scenario that you could load in a simulator.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And here's what the pilot's reporting.
Yeah.
So then you go and
Acting funny.
yeah.
I smacked it.
Sounds weird.
Helicopter make weird noise.
In the simulator. How does that work?
So being able to, go and troubleshoot
Yeah.
the whole
Yeah.
thing. I just thought that was interesting, and obviously I'm not on the MRO side or the maintenance side, but I could see it. I could see that being a tool.
Yeah.
A lot of this falls back, John. This goes back to when we had the AI panel discussion, and I saw Ronnie here from GPMS.
Yeah, I did too.
And it was awesome to kind of have that. And in that discussion, it really kind of spurred a lot of thoughts of what if that could happen, like to what you're kind of proposing, right? Like it's I guess it all comes back to the data of it all and what kind of data is collected at how many points of and
Sure.
over the years thereof, right? So
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
a great question.
I mean, I think 10 years ago, if we would have said that, the simulation with VR specific would be where it is today,
yeah.
I don't think we would have believed it. I think VR came
I
in
don't think
hot, and then I think it kind of was like not that cool.
Yeah.
Made people feel sick. It wasn't great. And, I was flying an H-125 the other day, and when I took off the set, I'm like, oh, crap, I'm not flying
Yeah,
helicopters.
it's
it was
super
so-
realistic,
It
yeah.
took me into the moment.
Yeah.
And so I think it is incredible, and I think it's a great, at least for the pilot side, a great training tool.
It's
Yeah.
like those Google glasses. You think they're really cool until you try them on, then you're not so cool.
Really?
Yeah.
I haven't
The VR is the opposite of that.
that's right,
tried
you know.
that. Yeah. So
Well, and that's a lot of with the a lot of the cards that they're making for. You talking? Let's go video games.
Sure, yeah,
like
yeah.
a lot of people play video games. Those graphic cards that they're making for those video games are just going next level now.
Yeah.
They're literally taking that and dropping it into
pretty
the
realistic.
simulator.
Yeah.
So, and one of the things that I absolutely love about some of the VR stuff, as far as like hoisting and flying and all that, is you can literally go into like Google Maps and, hey, I want to fly in Croatia, and whoop, there
You're
you
there,
are. You're
yeah.
like,
Yeah.
oh, snap.
Yeah.
I want to go check out that island. Let's go do that.
And you're hoisting off of a cable.
for the
Okay,
hoist,
with, like, yes,
for the hoist simulation, is
Yes,
it
sir.
is it an accurate display? Does it
it is. Yeah,
does it
it's-
feel
depends on
somewhat
which one
realistic?
you're going on, but I would say for the most part, yes, everybody has done something. Like all the agencies, all the companies that do some sort of virtual reality simulation on the hoist, they do a very good job with it. There are multiple platforms out there that do it. Some Some of them move like just the cable.
Cable,
right?
got it.
The
Right,
cable
roger
will
that.
move.
Tool chest.
Yeah. There are other
Crayons.
ones where they have a moving
Stick
like,
figure.
inside the cabin, so you feel like you're moving with the aircraft.
Oh, cool.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and then some just have the virtual goggles.
It really goes into your muscle memory side of the world, isn't it?
Totally
Awesome.
Yeah. So when you get in there, you're like, oh yeah. No, this
I
is
recognize
great.
this.
Yeah.
I just think technology is, I mean, look, I said it at VAI, and I think it's even here to a point, specifically on the simulation side. It's just technology is getting better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's lots of things, and some of the conversations that I had here, including and at HAI or VAI, is just how technology is great, and now we just have to figure out how to integrate it.
Yeah.
Right? And that
Yeah.
was still a constant conversation that I had here. You know, certification.
Yeah.
Yeah, obviously, Europe very similar to FAA.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
EASA, obviously, certification, regulatory, with eVTOL and all these other platforms coming up. How do we all coexist?
Yeah.
And I think right now it's like an awkward period, and it felt awkward back at Heli Expo, and it feels awkward still. Like we haven't. I don't know if there's a resolution, right? So I think that's kind of the big.
It's also our
problem.
capacity limits too, right? We in our generations now, what capacity do we handle that, right? Whereas probably a younger generation says, I did that stuff in World of
it's-
Warfare or something like that, right?
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
their
totally.
abilities
Yeah,
to kind
totally.
of process things electronically is an entirely different,
Right.
foreign subject
That's
to
a
all
great
of us.
point. Yeah.
But we need to encourage those people then to get into
Get on
regulation
board.
too. though,
Right, yeah.
We
Get
need
on
more-
board. Yep.
You know, I'm not into over-regulating, but we need to have more regulators be able to certify new technologies and
At least overview it.
100%.
Yeah. Yep.
Well, Quinny, let's change gears and
Yeah,
go.
sure.
What are your takeaways from the week, and what was kind of your highlight of having been here for
Oh, my
the
highlight's
show?
hanging out with you guys.
Yeah. Here, the heart's back.
Way to make it weird, John. So the highlight for me is, this is my first European Rotor event, and I had an absolute blast too. Being able to see some of the other vendors and the other companies that are out there that don't either make it to HAI or VAI, and they don't have I'll call it a large presence in the U.S.
Yeah.
So seeing that here now, I'm like, oh yeah, okay.
Yeah.
It's pretty. It's very centralized here, right?
Yeah. And like I'll actually, because they're right next to us, there's a flight suit right, literally the booth over from us, and I had never actually seen it, and I was like, oh, look at this. This is a pretty nice material. I like what they're doing. And so I asked them about the U.S. market, and they're like, nope, it's saturated. We're sticking here. And I'm like, oh
boy.
Okay. And the other part about it, and throwing this out there for them, is like, if they were to enter the U.S. market and it were like take off, they don't have the capability to make the demand.
Yeah.
So they're like, we're gonna ease our way into it. And I'm like, oh, right on. Well,
Yeah.
at least there's a plan.
Organically.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Roger
Yeah.
that.
So, but it's cool, like stuff like that. And again, always catching up with friends that you haven't seen in
Yeah,
forever.
right.
Like, like my boy Sebastian over there at DRF. I am throwing him out there because he came on the podcast and told some stories. And so every time I go everywhere, it's like, what's up, dude? It's so good to see you guys.
Right on.
One of my favorites.
Oh, Halsey, how about you?
Killing it.
Killing. No, I think just the overall experience. Trade shows are fun. It's
Yeah.
fun to get
Yeah.
out. Look, I could be sitting at home writing emails and taking work calls, and I'm here. And I'm hanging out with friends.
Totally.
And I'm having great conversations. And that's, to me, the beauty of this week and other expos. It's just a great way to connect. And it reminds you that we are in a very small industry, and it's just fun to be able to see all the people that share the same love and passion that we
Yeah.
all
Yeah.
have.
Yep.
And it's because it's rare, right? In your day-to-day life, you're not really conversing with too many helicopter folks, right? Or rescue folks.
Yeah.
There's not too much intertwining. So when you come to a place like this, and then you leave and you go to the hotel bar, and you're hanging out with the CEO of Air Zermatt.
Yeah.
And to me, it's one of the most iconic helicopter brands in the world. And
Yeah, right.
we're chatting, and he's inviting me to come and fly there and check it out and see. It's like, only in person,
Yeah.
can you
Yeah.
do that.
Right.
And then just exploring. I think it's important to get out and enjoy the sights.
You have to.
And take advantage of being in a new place and the
Yeah.
history of it.
You just got to make sure you talk quietly. Or no, talk silently. Talk silently.
I got yelled at.
No, you didn't.
And here's the funny part, though, is I still think it wasn't me. I think it was John and John's wife and Linda and Mike.
As we all look over, make sure we got the approval.
Mike says that I'm the loud one. Mike's loud. And so And
Wait,
this,
wait.
I'm pretty sure it was you.
Just so that we know,
saying.
I've nicknamed him the Telly Savalas of helicopters.
It's
Oh
Go
my
ahead.
god, that's great.
it's yeah, I got yelled at by a Dutch lady,
Oh,
but
no.
whatever.
But
It happens.
what you bring up is a good point to get out and explore and be
Yeah.
a part of the community that we don't get to see very often.
Yeah.
Being from the U.S. So that was really cool.
Yeah, the cultural side is fun, and the Netherlands has been great, hospitable. Amsterdam is a super cool city.
Right.
And just like most European cities, it's old, right? Like
Yeah.
you walk in the narrow cobblestone
Roads.
alleys and roads.
Yeah.
Thank
Yeah.
you, tool chests, rope, cable, and it's
Our brain cells are fighting each other.
It's
Yeah.
just,
Yeah.
I don't even drink. I don't even have an excuse.
I'm on your bus this month, brother.
I'm like,
Yeah.
hey,
I'm on your bus this month.
yeah,
All
buddy.
right.
Good.
Yeah, buddy.
Yeah.
But yeah, John, you?
Yeah, I think
Actually, wait a minute, John.
Yeah, hold on. Yeah,
Before you
yeah,
jump
go.
into that, did you? I had heard. Did you go around and talk to a couple police departments over here?
Yeah, I got to visit
That's awesome.
the Dutch National Police and see their facility. That was the highlight for me, for sure. Seeing their place and seeing how I've heard they operate. They're world leaders in what they do. But to go there and talk to their folks, to see their equipment, man, that was awesome.
Aren't these friendly people out here?
Oh, for sure.
Like, you know,
Yeah.
and I don't know, Austin Powers' dad was wrong. You know, there are two things that I hate in this world: people that are oppressive people, cultures, and the Dutch. Like, what are you talking about, dude? The Dutch are great people.
Yeah.
Gold.
I love gold. Oh, that's a keeper.
To your point,
Great
though,
job,
I want to thank Harold Brink for letting me come into your place and check it out, and for what you're doing in the industry. It's great. He's also a co-host of the Hangar Z Podcast. Short plug for that.
Nice.
Thank you, Harold.
What's the Hangar Z podcast?
That's only the best podcast there ever
Yeah,
was.
man. Hold on.
Oh, yeah.
Mic drop. And
Oh,
we're
look,
out.
it's on there.
Yeah, Hangar Z in the house.
Well, Val, you came in hot. You rolled into day one of the show
Yeah.
with red eyes because you're on a red eye flight. So
It was.
No, because he's in Amsterdam.
What are you talking about, man? I got these orange fingers from the cheesies. Yeah, I came in hot. I left
I love
Winnipeg Monday afternoon, rolled in on Tuesday morning, and you think over like it's not that long of a flight. It's like Winnipeg, Minneapolis here. Great, no problem. I'll get myself to sleep. Nope, I happened to fall asleep beside the guy that does it. One of those twitches. And every time I just fall asleep, he'd literally punch my side. I'm like, bro, you're about to get knocked out for at least more than a couple hours here right away. And he kept on flinching. I probably knocked out about maybe a total of about 2 hours.
Can
on
you
it.
sleep on a plane?
I can.
Yeah.
I can.
I can.
I can.
I think
That's a
it's a maintenance
superpower.
like,
Yeah,
guy in the
brother.
back thing.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
That's it.
I got no problem with it.
Oh my God.
Yeah, before takeoff.
Oh yeah.
That's the only time. Right as we take off, I'm able to pass out hard.
Yep.
And for like 30 minutes, and then I'm wide awake. There's no chance.
Yeah.
I tried. I had a plan. I brought special tea, like sleepy time tea, and everything was perfect. No, I just laid there miserable.
No, it was
a long flight.
We walked in on saw all you guys, and again, this was such a last minute trip for me to book this with you guys and come in. And I came in and saw all you guys. You guys are all fresh and spry, and I'm looking like I just rolled straight out of Hell's
It
Garden.
was nice. Day
Out
one,
of
I
Amsterdam.
felt good.
Hey, what's Val been smoking?
Yeah.
Nothing. I just got off a Delta flight. But it's been a hell of a show. I've come to appreciate this. Last year in Madrid was a great eye opener.
Yeah, it was fun.
Logistically, I know there was a lot of complications last year, and I'm glad they kind of cleared this up. This is a great venue, great show, great atmosphere, spectacular.
What encouragement would you have for folks that haven't had a chance to come to this show before?
To this show, come open-eyed, learn this side of the world's operations. Like you said, we're kind of in our own little bubble at North America, right? So we kind of have that ability to kind of function within ourselves, but having that open mind going into Europe, going into Asia, going into Australia, going to different parts of the world, go into it with an open mind and be respectful of their cultures because they do different things, the same way. If that makes sense.
Yep.
Yeah.
Right. So that's my biggest takeaway from especially coming to European. There's a bit of a different mindset, and you can kind of stand back and appreciate it when you see it actually functioning.
Yeah.
Right. So talking about it when we're back at home, we can always talk about it, but we really can't experience it. When you come here, you get to see it, live it, experience it, go out and kind of see the world at that spot and kind of learn their culture a little bit.
Yeah.
I think that's the best piece of advice I can probably offer on something like this. So to the organizer of the show, well done.
Yeah. Good job, Frank.
Good job, Frank.
Yeah,
Yeah.
good job, Frank.
Nice job, Frank.
Yep.
Yeah. Hey, Frank.
You my boy, Frank.
Frank did a take. Frank did a take.
You my boy, Frank.
Well, before we close out, any last thoughts?
No, I'm looking forward to the next one. And I do understand that this is one of the biggest European rotors they've ever had. So I'm kind of stoked that this was my first one.
Yeah.
So what I'm really excited about is that the potential of expansion and to make it bigger and better every time. There's always that bar you got to set, and once you hit it, then like you got to get next level. So, Mike's in front of the camera.
There he is.
Mike's in front of the camera.
Telly.
I love it. Just for those that are listening, it's Mike's just jumping in front of the camera. You just so if you see it on YouTube, you'll understand. But if you're just listening, he's walking around. Give it his hard time.
He's
Mike Reno, everybody.
He's chirping. To Mike and Linda, really, testament to MHM Publishing, Vertical, Valor, Skies,
Standing clap.
Heli,
Well done.
HeliCASTS. They've had the idea and the vision to support a podcast platform. It's an investment to them. We understand that, and we appreciate it. And it's been an incredible platform. And I think what we've collectively been able to do as a small team, just in a short amount of time, has been incredible. So, big shout out to MHM, of course, and to us, the podcasters, who bring it every single week. Over 200 episodes now.
Over 200 episodes.
baby.
I'm over 200.
100?
I'm over the 100.
25?
Val said 3.
Hey,
25 already. That's incredible.
25.
You already?
Already,
Wow, that's really good. Yeah, bravo.
Yeah.
Thank you,
bravo.
guys. Thank you. Yep.
Yeah,
It's awesome.
yeah.
My closing thought is we talked about with Frank. You go to these conferences and you hear the industry's best, get up and do a presentation on whatever the thing is, and then you go home and you're really on fire for whatever that topic was. But over the course of the year, that fire kind of goes out because you've forgotten. But the podcasts really keep that conversation alive. So I encourage you all to tune into the podcast, listen to the industry's best that we bring on this platform, and continue the conversations at your hangar.
And even suggest some.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I get guests all the time from suggestions, so keep doing that. That's fantastic.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yep.
So tune in.
I do have something else.
Yeah.
Oh, no, you
I'm
already had your shit.
Yeah, I know, but I'm bringing it back.
Are we going to talk about or no?
Oh, maybe. No.
Maybe, okay,
No.
all right.
Well, no. Yeah,
right.
but here we go. Like the way I like to end the majority of my podcasts, I like to ask a piece of advice, right?
Yeah.
I'm now sitting with guys that MRO, police, law enforcement, safety side, just pilot.
Not even really.
But I'll tell you what, and then I'm going to ask pineapple on pizza. But
Bro.
we're going to end it with
Bro.
that. But so if you guys have a piece of advice that you'd want to pass on to everybody right now, just from your field, what would it be? Let me start with you, Val.
Oh, I think it just kind of continues into expand your mind. Go into every option you have to kind of learn your trade. More so, just get hands-on. Like that's the RO, that's the vertical MRO, right? Get hands-on into something, get your fingers dirty, and learn it.
Nice.
Then learn from your elders, learn from yourself, melt it with the elders, and see if it works, right? And you better, have them double check it if you're unsure of it. Just ask the questions. Be always expanding your mind. Expand your mind.
That's cool.
Yep.
Yeah.
Right on.
I think for me, it's attend these types of conferences. These are the places where you're going to network with folks that really have the expertise that you don't. Like I said, the industry's best is always at these conferences. So make an effort to go to the conference. And when you're at regional fly-ins, regional events, make an effort to network. I think a lot of times we go somewhere as a group and we're really tempted to sit with the same people you always sit with because that's comfortable.
Sure.
Make an effort to go sit with another group who you might know, but maybe not as well.
Yep.
That networking is a big part of what we do, and that'll increase your performance and make what you do more efficient and effective.
Can I throw in a coaching thing with my football?
Yeah, please,
So
Coach
I've
Val.
always told my kids, get comfortable with being uncomfortable.
Yes.
Yes.
Yep, like it.
You got to put yourself out of your comfort zone for sure.
Yeah.
It's important. I think one of the continual advices I've been giving on the podcast, whether it's direct or just with talking with guests or whatnot, is be professional.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think pilots.
Dude, that's my rule number 6. Don't
rule-
be a prick. That's rule number 6 of the Real ResQ
Perfect.
Podcast rules. Rule number 6, don't be a prick.
Well, and I think that
Is
professional.
that too deep? I'm sorry.
No.
That's good.
You
I think-
almost went Freudian there a little bit. I was like,
And I mean professional as in many things. And I
Yes.
think that professionalism means
Mindset.
a commitment to safety.
yep.
Right? Accidents are still happening. I can't think of how many accidents in this last month I've seen on TV,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Or Facebook
Yeah.
or whatever.
Yeah.
Helicopters continue to crash. And most of the time it's because of a decision or a lack of situational awareness or something, the Swiss cheese, right? It all
Sure.
kind of aligned up. So I think it's a commitment to safety, continual training. Invest in yourself and
Yep.
invest in training.
Yeah.
To operators, invest in your pilots and invest in training.
Yep.
If they're just flying A to B all year long, they're not training, right? They're not out there. They're not doing emergency procedures. They're not staying sharp.
Yep.
So to me, being a professional pilot means it is actually the most important part. And, we stress that a lot on my show. And I think when you come to a show like this, we all talk safety and we're all on board. And then you go and you kind of fade off as time goes on. But you have a choice to leave this type of environment where safety is number one priority.
Yep.
And you can keep that by maintaining a high level of professionalism.
Yep. Solid advice.
That's good.
On you, Quinny.
My advice to everybody is kind of what I leave at the majority. 1, don't be friggin' lazy. All right, get up and do the
Grind.
job. And number 2, don't quit.
Nice.
Just get after it and don't quit. If you want it, go get it.
Yep.
Yeah, buddy.
Yeah, buddy.
Well,
We went
gentlemen,
NASCAR on that one.
Yeah.
Get some.
Yeah, Ricky Bobby, shake and bake.
thank you guys for doing what you guys do.
Hold
you
on.
guys,
There's 4 of us here, and we need to settle this score once and for all.
Oh yeah.
Pineapple.
Easy.
I think it's going to be
Absolutely.
Pineapple,
on
yay or nay?
pizza.
You're a loser.
50-50.
Here we go.
Well, Mike, come here.
Wait,
Mike.
we got Mike Rado coming in. Mike
Pineapple
Rado
on pizza.
Pineapple on pizza.
No good. I got Reed. Hey, Reed Sullivan.
You guys all
Reed
left me
Sullivan.
I agree with him.
Reed Sullivan. That's my boy right
You
there.
guys all left me. You left
That's
me
my
hanging.
boy Blue.
Sorry.
There's going to be a video be like this.
So we're back.
good,
We're
brother.
back to 50-50.
Yeah,
All right.
All right. All right. Well,
It's so good.
we got VAI coming up in March.
Yeah,
That'll be
buddy.
in Dallas for 2025. So look forward to seeing you all at VAI. And until then, we'll catch you later.
We are out of here.
3, 2.
Boom.